We want to go back to Harvard right now, the Center for the Developing Child. Princess Catherine has been inside, Tiffany, and she's leaving right now.
And, you know, she really spoke with the people of this department in Harvard, talking about how they're using science to kind of shape policies around early childhood education here. Princess Catherine of Wales greeting spectators. This is such a very exciting time for people in Cambridge, too, to see royalty up close.
It is. I tweeted out, a woman that I know sent me video. She's standing right there on the sidewalk, and she was very excited to get there this morning and see the princess come and go. It just isn't every day that we have royalty in the United States, never mind in the Boston area. But you know, it's a moment with history. This is the future Queen of England. I think it's exciting for people to think they're meeting a world historic figure. It's a great story to tell, as we saw with that adorable little boy yesterday in Somerville. And, you know, these are fun moments. You'll talk to a lot of people who say, oh, I don't care about the royals or the royal family. But I think on some level, everyone understands that you're meeting a historic figure.
And for so many people that I spoke with who stand out in the cold, you have to imagine it is cold outside with flowers. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to them to see royalty up close. And I know talking with so many people, they have such a personal connection to the royal family.
What were they telling you about why they would stand out there for so many hours?
You know, I spoke with one woman. She drove from Philadelphia, convinced her husband somehow to stand outside in the cold. She said she's a school teacher and she connects so deeply to Catherine, the Princess of Wales, her initiative towards childhood education, and her as a mother, and she wanted to go out there to give her flowers as a show of respect. You know, and we also saw school teachers in Chelsea coming out.
Yeah, let's listen in. We can hear them talking.
It might have snowed yesterday. It was so cold.
Yeah, very chilly.
No, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Very nice to meet you.
You heard her there referring to how cold it was yesterday when they went out to the East Boston to talk about Boston Harbor issues. Boy, they looked cold, even though they were bundled up. It was very windy, very chilly.
And we were talking about how she does not have a coat on. So you can imagine this offers such a human element to the people standing outside, taking the time to shake hands.
Well, and you talked about the emotion of it, Tiffany, and that's interesting. I think in particular over the last 6 months, so many people thought it was so endearing to see them as a young family at all the Jubilee events for the Queen. And we saw where her little boy, Louis, who is just a typical little toddler boy, was putting his hand over her mouth and kind of giving her a hard time. And she handled it so well, as any mom would, very naturally, very normally. And then during the hours and hours, days of coverage of the Queen's funeral, when people were really kind of caught up in the history of it. I think a lot of Americans who don't have a daily natural interest in the royal family watched that historic funeral coverage, and you saw them all as a family. They were clearly grief-stricken, really loved the Queen, and so I think a lot of Americans who might not pay attention all the time, for the first time, watched them. Ooh, let's listen to their conversation.
I sort of about it, you know, for
Just a little tough to listen, but you can just tell by the smile on his face and his facial expressions what an exciting moment this is for him. And of course, a couple laughs, human handshakes. And yesterday we saw a lot of selfies. We saw Princess Catherine take a selfie with 2 children in Chelsea. It's moments like this, you know, that I
And she's turning to smile in a selfie, and they get it. You know, they understand that people have been standing out for hours. They want to get a picture with them. They want to have a moment. I saw one article that there was a woman from Tennessee in the crowd where they stopped outside Roca in Chelsea yesterday, and she had her mom on the phone, and Prince William said hi.
And taking that stuffed, I think it was a panda bear from a child as a gift, and you just see people bringing flowers, holding up handmade signs. Someone gifted her a book.
Yes,
they
handed her a book
yesterday.
Oh yeah, but what I was saying was, after watching all that Jubilee and funeral coverage, I think people do feel like, you know, they have genuine affection for them. They seem like a lovely young couple with little kids, like your, you know, niece or nephew or something, and they seem like sweet people, you know, and so people who really are royal watchers really love them.
I mean, standing outside for 2+ hours just to get a glimpse, a brief handshake, a quick chat. I mean,
I have to say, one time I had the chance to, found myself in an alleyway, and there was the Queen and Prince Philip coming to an event. It was such a thrill. I mean, you think, wow, here I am with this person, you know, who's world famous and a part of history. And Bostonians love history like they love nothing else.
Yeah, and we have Dr. Amanda Foreman, who is our royal expert. Let's talk about this humanizing moment for Princess Catherine to come out and shake hands, because a lot of these moments are very impromptu in nature, too. Dr. Foreman, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. And if you notice, she is shaking hands without wearing gloves. That is very rare. If you look at other royal families, they're always wearing gloves. She is not, and in fact, the older generations often wore gloves, and she isn't. And that is a real testament to her. You know, it's freezing cold out there too, but she doesn't mind.
I have to say, it's been very cold for them on this trip since they've been here. But it is interesting, Dr. Foreman, we were just talking about how so many Americans spent hours over the last 6 months watching either the Jubilee coverage or the Queen's funeral. And so they really did spend a lot of time watching this couple. And I think that's part of this affection that you're seeing in these crowds.
Yes, that's right. It's a curious thing, of course, because the royal family can't give the kind of personal interviews that, you know, other celebrities can do. So they can never really speak for themselves. They can only be themselves. And so what people in the US have seen is just, you know, two authentic human beings going about their business. You know, it's not like a great big commercial or you know, something staged. You know, they can't fake it. They can just be who they are.
Right, and you know, it's interesting, people make the point, they're not celebrities, they're not politicians. A president serves for 4 or 8 years in that intense spotlight, and then it's over. It's never over for them, is it? And they're born into this, so this is not a choice. They have to kind of accept it and embrace the role, right?
That is right, and so marrying into that is a big thing, and it's amazing how Princess Catherine has absorbed it and embraced it and thrown herself into it in a way that I can't think of anyone else, frankly, in this century who's agreed to so completely sacrifice themselves for their husband and the work that he does and make it their own. So she's not simply an appendage, she's also an equal partner in this.
Yeah. Tiffany, she's spending a lot of time with people.
I'm saying going over to the other side, shaking hands in the cold, no less. We know that she's leaving Harvard University's Center for Developing Children. Let's talk about this personal cause, and it seems like she's using this cause to really connect with children, as you can see here, bending down, talk to these kids. Let's talk about this particular cause, Dr. Foreman, as to why she's in Cambridge today.
The cause of early childhood has been one of Princess Catherine's most important charities since almost the day she married Prince William. And I think actually it's partly because she herself had a very happy childhood. And so being a person of tremendous empathy, she knows how wonderful and how lucky she has been, and therefore wants that wonderful, warm childhood that she had to be something that can be modeled for others.
Yeah, it's very interesting that we're just watching her now. We're hearing the crowds cheer as she's waving. She's got an armful of bouquets as she gets back into her Range Rover. To presumably, what we think is happening now, Dr. Foreman, is she's going to go back to the Four Seasons and get all ready, black tie ready, because Prince William is at the JFK Library, and then the activities at the Earthshot Prizes, you know, all get underway at about 3 o'clock. So she's got a little bit of time here to go get ready. So she's beginning to leave Cambridge. But, you know, it's interesting you talk about her family, because in everything you read about Prince William, that was one of the things that drew him to her. He really loves her family and how normal they are, aren't they?
Yeah, they're normal and moral, and you know, they're good people. They work hard for their living. They, you know, they have just ordinary family values, and it was clearly something that, as you say, really drew her and them to him, and they have remained supportive through thick and thin. I mean, they just have a wonderful relationship. And, you know, the Princess Catherine's mother has babysat the kids often. I mean, it's just a, you know, it's just a warm, loving family.
Yeah.